Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Yuswanti Merinda. Today I want to explain about national and official language.
National and official language. In sociolinguistics, the distance between a national language and an official language is generally made along the affective referential ancient, or more precisely in this context, the ecological instrumental dimension. Different a national and official language. A national language is the language of a political, cultural, and social unit. It is generally developed and used as symbol of national unity. Its functions are to identify the nation and unite its people. An official language is simply a language which may be used for government business. Its function is primarily utilitarian rather than symbolic. Example: in Vanuatu, the national language is Bislama, a Pacific Creole, and it is also an official language alongside French and English, the language of the previous colonial administrator. Official status and minority language. Because of its colonial history, as well as its value as a world language and international lingua franca, English is an official language in many countries throughout the world, such as Pakistan, Fiji, Vanuatu, Jamaica, and the Bahamas, as well as those listed above. Many minorities would like to gain official status for their language, but the costs in terms of providing service and information in all official languages are considerable and most governments count them careful. Example: Russian-speaking workers in Estonia on the Gulf of Finland struck for 4 days last week against language and election laws, saying they discriminate against them. Many minorities would like to gain official status for their language, but the costs in terms of providing service and information in all official languages are considerable, and most governments count them carefully. In Canada, for instance, as well as French speakers and the indigenous Canadian people, such as the Cree and Mohawk. There are many other Canadian minorities: Italians, Portuguese, Chinese, and Ukrainians, for instance. Together they make up about 27% of the total Canadian population. Many reasons the special status of the French will make up only 28% the population. Providing service, information, legal representation, and in some places, education in just two official languages is an expensive business. It seems unlikely other minorities will earn such right easily. What price a national language? Many countries have regretted the development of a single national language as a way of symbolizing the unity of a nation. Over the last 100 years, nationhood and independence have been very important political issues throughout the world in the struggle to establish a distinct national identity and to secure independence from colonial rule. The development of a national language has often played an important part. The symbolic value of a national language as a unifying and rallying point in the fight for independence was quickly appreciated. Planning for a national official language. There are 4 steps involved in developing a code or variety. First, selection, choosing the variety or code to be developed. Second, codification, standardizing its structural or linguistic feature. Third, elaboration, extending its function for use in new domains. Fourth, securing its acceptance. The status of the new variety is important, and so people's attitude to the variety being developed must be considered. Tanzania selecting a code. The first president of Tanzania chose Swahili as the official national language. It was difficult to choose English as it was the language of the colonizer. The choice was based on the fact that Swahili was already the language of education. It also served as a lingua franca of the anti-colonial movement and strengthened social relations between different groups that were subject to colonization. Swahili is also identified as an African language as it belongs to the Bantu family. Codifying and elaborating Swahili. First, standardization began by the British administration before independence. Second, a southern variety of Swahili was selected as the basic for the standard. Third, the codification involved developing spelling system, describing grammar, and writing a dictionary for the vocabulary. Fourth, after independence, Swahili was used for many contexts like education, administration, politics, and law. The vocabulary expanded to cover the needs of new contexts by borrowing from English and Arabic. Fifth, the president recommended that Swahili would be used for post-primary education. High court and government, they required more vocabulary for making new technical terms needed for different fields. Attitude to Swahili. Because Swahili was used to unite the people of Tanzania, it was regarded in a positive way. Tanzanians were very loyal to the language that united them in working toward freedom. The language also acquired the charisma of the president who used Swahili in different occasions rather than English. Literary work of Shakespeare were also translated into Swahili. Swahili had a neutral status because it was not identified with a particular tribe. Developing a standard variety in Norway. Selecting a code. In Norway, there was a diglossia situation where Danish was the H variety and the language of the oppressor from whom Norway gained independence. Other Norwegian vernacular are the L varieties. The attitude toward Danish were hostile, and it was not used by people at rural country. On the other hand, choosing from the regular Norwegian varieties also started problem in relation to people attitude, as well as form and function. So there were two approaches taken to develop a standard written variety of Norwegian. One approach selected a variety based on Danish with some orthographic and morphological modification reflecting Norwegian educated speech. The other approach created a new Norwegian written standard by drawing on a ring of Norwegian rural dialects, also called New Norwegian. Codification and elaboration. First, the new Norwegian was subject to a process of codification and elaboration by Ivar Ekson, a school teacher who A. wrote a grammar and a 40,000 word dictionary. B. Identified common grammatical pattern in different dialects and chose vocabulary from a ring different dialects. Also, he chose the forms that were the least corrupted and influenced by Danish. Second, rural dialect solved the problem on function elaboration over extending the use of Norwegian into domains where Danish had been regarded as the appropriate code. Third, the two languages, though different, share common static feature and morphological variants. However, they differ in terms of word. Pronouncement is made by the Norwegian Language Council, which identifies the appropriate pronouncement. The linguistic role in language planning. Language planning is defined most simply as deliberate language change. This covers a wide variety of activities, including the introduction of new labels for food, the reform spelling system, and the provision of advice on non-sexist terminology. Developing vocabulary. Maori Language Commission in this area is illustrated by the problem of providing Maori names for government institutions, including themselves. Te Reo is a widely known Maori phrase meaning the language, but the title also includes the word Kajimihana, which simply borrow the English word commission and adapt it to the Maori sound system. The transliteration is quite predictable, with K substituting for C, he substituting for S since Maori has no S and he is the usual fricative substitution, and A final vowels. Acceptance. The Maori Language Commission can recommend that certain linguistic forms be adopted by the media and used in school. just as the Norwegian government regularly publishes its list of approached words. But people have to accept and use them. This is what finally determines whether a proposed from success or not. And this applies as much to an individual word as to a new code selected to serve as a standard official language. Acquisition planning. This is something called acquisition planning and science the most widespread method of encouraging the acquisition of a language is to use the education system. It is also known as language in education planning. Language planner may be asked to advise about a range of issues such as who should be the target of the language promotion effort.
I think my explanation is enough. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.